Hey Riggers, thanks for dropping in. I'm going to be showing today my collection of loose games and going through my disc binder. Bit of a random idea that came to me. I had a bit of an urge to create a video today, and this is the idea that sprung to mind, so without further ado I'm just going to jump straight into it. Okay, so the lighting is not the greatest at the moment, but we'll make do for now. So I'm just going to open this right up, and on the first page we have a PC game, Impossible Creatures. So the way this binder works is you have two slots on a page for discs, and then I have room here in this sleeve to put covers and manuals. So we have Impossible Creatures for the PC on the first page, and you might be wondering, well, if you've got the cover and the manual and discs, why would you have it in a binder? That's for space reasons, and also not every single thing in my collection I feel a compulsion to have on a shelf. It doesn't. I can buy something complete and think, well, it's not that important to have on my shelf. There's things I've bought in bundles and I think, well, that game's alright, but I don't want it on display, I don't want it taking up any room. So to mitigate that, because collecting is a very materialistic and physical hobby, it takes up space in your life, I decided to get binders for several of my interests, for DVDs and Blu-rays, for TV and film, for CDs for my music and audio dramas, and this one for my games. Let's go to the next page, where we have Ratatouille for the PC. There's quite a few Ratatouille games, about 4, maybe 5 different Ratatouille games. Each platform, or every few platforms it released on, was a completely different game. The PSP one was fantastic. I've not actually played the PC one yet. Crisis 3, my partner, I don't know where they got that from, but they just gave it to me. It just sort of appeared, and I was like, okay. VR Baseball, which I have not played before. We have MotoGP 2 for the Xbox. Army Men Sarge's War. We have Skyrim. Bit of a mangled copy, as you can see. This is my childhood copy. My Xbox killed it. We don't talk about what happened to my childhood copy of Skyrim. I kind of just keep it there for sentimental reasons. I can't actually do anything with it. That's a copy of Buzz the Music Quiz. I'm not sure if that one works either. The 99% of the games in here do work. I've slowly purged out any non-working ones. Oh, this page is a bad representation of that, that's also a non-working copy. Oh dear. FIFA. I'm not remotely interested in football really, but I've played tiny bits of some of the FIFAs and they're alright. These are just things that I've accumulated in bundles that I've bought. That's a spare cover for a copy of Sonic Heroes that didn't work. That is a cover of Metroid Prime Hunters, basically sort of like a small demo, slice of life sort of introductory experience. I've got the loose cartridge somewhere else because this is really good for cartridges. These are some burnt copies of games from in the past if I didn't have as much money, and I have a modded Xbox, so I burnt various copies of games to try them out or to play them, and this is a remnant of that. I put them away in here because unless I decide I really am a huge fan of these games, I don't see a particular point in buying them, because like I'm supporting the developers. You only buy used copies of these things. And yeah, Crazy Taxi 3, Jet Set Radio Future, so some pretty expensive games here. I did have a burnt copy of Outrun 2006, and something that's very unlike me, I have lost it. I'm not one to lose things. I'm very meticulously organised. I always know where my things are. I put things in the correct place. I don't just leave things out. I don't mess things up. All my game stuff stays in this room, apart from if I'm having a handheld and taking it into a different room or out and about on the go or take it to work. My stuff doesn't leave this room, my game stuff. But I haven't seen it since I moved into where I'm living now. I don't know where Outrun 2006 has gone. It was just a burnt copy anyway, but it's a bit annoying. And I'm not sure how the save data works, so I don't know if I need to buy an NTSC copy to carry on, because the burnt copy, because the most widely available ROMs online are American game dumps. So if I buy a PAL copy, does that mean the save data will not carry on? So I'm probably going to end up buying an NTSC physical copy at some point, because I do really like that game and I would like to have that on my shelf. But I don't know where my burnt copy went. Yeah, this is a bit of a random page. That loose copy of Crash Nitro Kart plate for the PlayStation 2, I couldn't care less about. It just came free. It was just thrown in with my hot pink coloured PlayStation 2. And I was like, okay, I already own it complete on Xbox. I don't really need the PlayStation 2 copy, but I may as well keep it. Grand Theft Auto 3, we've got so many loose copies of that in this house, my other half. We've got Black Ops 2 on the PC, which the discs are somewhere else. Far Cry 2, I've got the Steelbook over there. So when I ended up with a spare copy, like a normal one, I thought, well, I'll just throw it in the binder, I don't need that necessarily. We've got Gran Turismo 3, the arcade mode is Gran Turismo 2, it doesn't really work, so I just pulled it out of the, well, it's a bit scratched, I don't know if it works or not, but I've taken it out of the case for Gran Turismo 2. These two kind of shovelware budgety games, but I did complete that and that was fun, but that's pretty much just the same game with a different skin, even the same music and menus, it's literally just the same thing as that. The budget developer, be wary of Midas games, they're largely shit. Sudeki, I ended up buying it when I got my Xbox a few years ago in 2020, April 2020. About half the games, maybe 2/3 of the games were completely broken, like horrific levels of damage. I complained to the seller, they allowed me to choose 15 new games from the leftover collection as an apology, and about half of those games didn't work either. I just gave up in the end. We have some PSP fragments of my childhood collection that's been battered down and worn over the years. These I don't have the cover, but I do have the manual for Virtua Tennis 3 and the disc, and I don't have the game, but I do have the manual and the cover for this power pack. The manual is in my copy of Mario Rabbids 2, but we don't talk about that. That's a game. I haven't tried that, but I think it might be okay. That's just very Japanesey, like screams I'm made by a Japanese developer. And I imagine that will scream I am not made by a Japanese developer. In contrast, this exists and I've not played it. Need for Speed Hot Pursuit and Full 1010, both games I already owned on the 360. PES, whatever that is, it's football, and it exists. Yay. As a spare cover I don't need for Rayman Raven Rabbids, again the disc is probably somewhere. For someone who likes being organised, in this disc binder I'm just enjoying a bit of chaos, I think. Nothing's really together, is it? Need for Speed Nitro, I've got a copy over there on the floor because I've been playing it on my way. I started playing it last night with my GameCube controller, it's very comfortable. So I've already got a copy of Need for Speed Nitro, that's a duplicate copy. That's a duplicate copy of Overlord Dark Legend, because I already have that as well. That's a duplicate copy of Persona 5 Royal. I originally had it disc only, and then I ended up getting the big box Royal Edition, Collector's Edition, whatever it's called. The one that comes in the art book and the ceramic Phantom Thief Joker's mask. So I've got the steelbook to go with that now, so that's just a duplicate. That's a spare because that was my original copy, and then I upgraded to the Game of the Year disc, which has DLC on disc. There's some of the Football Manager covers, I won't bother getting all them out. That's a game that exists. That's one of the Rugrats games. Which one's this? Studio Tour, you can just about see that. That is not really a game, it's just this sort of fortune teller software. That is not a game, it's just pictures of anime girls. Quite literally, that's all it is. Pictures of anime girls. I'm holding my hands up here to that. I certainly didn't choose to buy it. It came in a collection of stuff from a Saturn. I couldn't care less about it, but it's here, I suppose. I may well just snap it and throw it away one day alongside that. I couldn't care less about them. I've already binned all the covers and inserts whenever for all of that, because it means nothing and I'd rather recycle it, because it's not even a game. This is Christmas Nights, which I do have the manual for here. Well, manual / front cover, because they are the same thing. This, sadly, the seller ended up knocking the price of this off my order because of this Can we see it here? Can you see that horrible crack? Can you see that? It's not good. Yeah, it's a huge crack in the actual disc. Not a scratch, like an actual crack in the plastic, like all the way through. And yeah, this disc dead. It doesn't work, sadly. Battlefield 3, that's a spare cover of that because I got a bundle not long ago, which I have recorded when I got it, and I'm not going to allude to too much information with it, but you'll find out more about what I got in that giant bundle soon. I might put the video out in the next week or two. But I ended up getting another copy of Battlefield 3, and I thought I may as well put the Battlefield 3 limited edition cover on display instead. These are just some baseball Japanese baseball games. I did have them all complete, but I've chucked and recycled all the cases, covers, because they don't mean anything to me, and they're just miscellaneous games anyway. Same for these, because I don't really care about Japanese football or more baseball, and that didn't even seem to be a game. It just seems to be non-stop anime cutscenes. I'm not even sure if is this just episodes. I don't know what this is, but there was nothing there of interest. That doesn't work because of a great place that sells games which doesn't test them fantastically. So I've got the manual and cover here for spare at some point. I might burn a copy of the game, or I might buy another disc. Who knows? My luck with the Xbox is abysmal when it comes to working discs, to the point where I'm just considering for some of my favourite games I can never seem to find a fully working copy of, just going to buy sealed copies, which aren't that expensive. There's one game I want to buy a sealed copy of, it's only £30 sealed. I will have that. Nope. Tomb Raider Underworld, I haven't played that yet. That's something that exists, as is that. I would like to try them again. I've not played Connect since I was a young kid. That's a Sega Saturn demo disc. With this one is still complete with its inserts and manual. That's PlayStation 2 cover Quantum of Solace. The disc was knackered, so I've just kept the cover. This was an interesting story. This was a loose disc. I bought a Wii U from a place, and it clearly hadn't been properly tested recently. Well, first of all, it arrived covered in newspaper and all these horrible, disgusting, glossy stickers. They had newspaper, like, practically super glued to the Wii gamepad. It was disgusting. The Wii U gamepad, sorry. And this was still in the console. Not with any of the peripherals or the portal of power, so I can't do anything with it. But hey, free game, I guess. That's my old copy of Tekken 4. It doesn't work very well. I've since ended up getting a replacement copy, which is significantly less scratched. This is another Rugrats game, The Search for Reptar. This video might be a little bit long, oh dear. Sports Party by Ubisoft. World Cup Golf. Those faces just make me think inappropriate things. I'm not going to say anything. I mean, they look just... Yeah, I can make all sorts of innuendos. These games aren't very good. Just move on. I might just like bin them at some point. They're not worth anything. Then we've got Millionaire. Millionaire. Who wants to be a millionaire? Who wants to be a millionaire? Millionaire. A B to want to. Who wants to be a millionaire? 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 Second edition. Who wants to be a millionaire? Who wants to be a millionaire? Yeah, I've got a lot of millionaire. We don't talk about that. We've got Medieval Moves. That's certainly a game. Sports Champions. There's another game. The Shoot and Start the Party. These are all sort of like PlayStation Move or camera sort of games that don't really have any real value or interest to me, but I keep them because I would like to try out those things at some point, and then if I don't like them after trying them, then I'll get rid of them. My spare copy of Tomorrow Never Dies. It's not a spare copy actually, but this I did have another copy that I sold, but this was a loose disc copy, so I just kept the loose disc copy. There's two of these here. Two. Oh, I'm waiting for someone to get triggered. Oh, you're scratching your disc. I don't care, they're my discs, not yours. Around 2 copies of Gran Turismo 5. 2 spare copies of Gran Turismo 5. Yes. Oh, I'm destroying the disc. These are already in pretty rough condition. Anyway, I don't care. The Blu-rays, they'll be fine. Just Cause 2. I did have the manual. I threw it in the recycling. I don't need them. I didn't have the manual for Just Cause 2 growing up. I certainly don't need it now. I don't know what that is. Maybe that is that 1006? I don't know. No, it's CDR. CDR, hang on. That's not even a game. That's music. Moving swiftly on. Spare copy of Everything or Nothing. That was just loose. I don't need that complete in box. I chucked the manual and that's just a loose disc somewhere now in another box. Everything on this page disgusts me. Life Stories was decent. I really like the first Call of Duty. I've played it. I've played the Xbox 360 port. It's fantastic. I picked this up years ago though. This PC version, the original version. Haven't ever played the PC version, but I shall try it at some point. San Andreas, San Andreas and San Andreas, and Play Brother Mansion. All of these have been bequeathed unto me because I'm not that big of a fan of Grand Theft Auto games, even though I've played the majority of them to completion of the story. Yeah, that's a lot of copies of San Andreas. Family Game Night, another copy of Gran Turismo 3, another copy of Gran Turismo 3. Again, not my fault. My partner seems to collect them for some reason. It's a running joke between us. Buzz the Hollywood Quiz. Buzz the Hollywood Quiz. Buzz the Hollywood Quiz. Again, not my fault. Sims 2 Pets, spare copy. Sims 2 Castaway, spare copy. There's the PC Black Ops 2 from earlier, with those discs in the same thing. And it's a Russian copy, as you can see. Spare cover, Football Manager, The Herbs. Football Manager, Nightfire, FIFA Manager, Quantum of Solace for the 360, next to a completely different Bond game. Spare covering, what the hell is this called? Manual. Spare manual for Mafia. That pile is shite. Max Payne, nope. South Africa, FIFA 10, FIFA 13, FIFA 12, FIFA 13, FIFA 14, Marvel Superheroes, and more FIFA stuff. There's Marvel Superheroes with more FIFA, and more FIFA, and that, and shovelware. Shovelware. That, next to a Scooby-Doo game which looks quite cool actually, a spare copy of Battlefield 3. Fishing, Sports Party, Football Manager. Disney Infinity, We Play, a spare copy. Disney Infinity, yeah, that's the same version. There's another one, 1.0 I've got as well. A spare copy of Forza Motorsport 3, both discs. Hockey. Spare copy of Halo 3. Spare disc for Far Cry 2. Guitar Hero Van Halen, whatever that is. A physical PC copy of Fallout 3 to go along with my other copies of Fallout 3. I don't really need this version because I have lots of others. Well, I've got my original Childhood 360 copy, and the one that came in the Fallout Mini Nuke Anthology collection that came out in 2015, specifically the 2015 version. I don't have the new version. Spare copy of Dishonored, another duplicate copy of Hot Pursuit. I still got my one of that when it first came out. That's a duplicate, and that's just disc only. That's not a duplicate, that's just disc only. I do own it on the 360. Spare manuals and things. These are loose things that are in here. Sing Star, Other Dimensions, DJ Heroes. There's the other Disney Infinity. I don't even care about South Park. I might even just chuck that. Well, it's worth a fair bit, isn't it? Maybe I'll sell it at some point. Yeah, that looked kind of shovelware, so I just threw that in here. Didn't need that on my shelf. Duplicate copy, duplicate copy, duplicate copy, duplicate copy. I have all of these already with the cases, and they're on my shelf. Another one of that, another one of that. So I've got 3 copies of that, haven't I? And I've got 3 or maybe even 3 of that, I don't know. That, the case was all broken. That's the only reason the Minecraft's in here. But some of them, if the cases were broken, I just shoved them in here because, well, there's nowhere else to put them. If the cases had disintegrated and smashed to bits in transit, same for that one actually. I mean, I was going to put that in here anyway, but... Quiz Party, the amount of times I thought, oh, I've binned that game, I've got rid of that game, and it still reappears in my collection. I swear it's like a boomerang, it keeps coming back. My duplicate childhood original copy that kind of stopped working sadly. Why do I still have these? Fantastic game, but these are non-working copies of my childhood copies, but they're just coasters now. And so many San Andreas again. And then there's just sort of nothing. Ugh, I thought I'd binned all this shit. Cyberpunk crap. Be gone. Throw them in the recycling later. Max Payne, it's painful to play. For some reason there's blank pages here, I don't know why. Must have removed something from that point. Tiger Woods, 2008. Astro Boy, Planes. I'd like to try the Astro Boy one actually, I like the film that came out around that time. I want to read the original manga though. Pinball, I'm sure it's Pinball. Blazing Angels, I used to enjoy watching, I can't remember play that as a kid, and I enjoyed playing it on the Xbox. Narnia, I don't really care about Narnia. Cruising was alright, but it's incredibly short and kind of mediocre. There's Death Junior, don't really know what that is. Legion, don't really know what that is. Speed Racer, don't really know what that is. IndyCar series, I don't really know what IndyCar is, but I would like to try it. Gift, some sort of French platformer. Eternal Ring is an early/launch title for PlayStation 2. Came in a black case anyway, and it's got a blue underside to it. Okay, that's a lie, it does not have a blue underside to it. But I swear it's an early game. It says 2000 on it, so it's an early-ish game. America's Most Wanted, that is basically where you just hunt terrorists. You got to kill Bin Laden, it's weird. Nearly at the end now. Whoa, that's overstuffed. Big manuals from these games. iToy Play 2, Total Club Manager 2004, That Pile of Cunt, Smarties the Game, for some reason. Fucking turn the bloody page over. Goodness, 10. Oh, on last page is FIFA 2000. And then that's the end. So I hope you found that interesting. It's a very random video, I know, and it's a very eclectic, completely not organised at all disc binder full of a complete hodgepodge of random stuff. But I hope it gives you a bit of an insight into my desire to not have too much clutter within my collection. Not everything has to be on a shelf. Not everything has to be complete. I'm more than happy to put more miscellaneous things I'm not as bothered about, things I've got duplicate copies of, to throw the cases away, recycle the spare components I don't need, and put the discs inside a binder and tuck them away for now. And things, sometimes I'll change my mind on something later on, and if I've got the cover and manual still, I can put it back in a case and it can go back on the shelf if I feel it's earned its place back there. Or if I think it's so shit that I don't care about it, if it isn't worth anything to sell, then I'll just recycle the whole thing. Goodbye case cover and manual and game. Goodbye all of it. Controversial? Yes. Do I really care about what if other people don't like the fact I recycle some manuals and covers for games I think, oh shit, do I have too many duplicate copies of? No, I don't really. It's printed paper, and considering the inherent environmental selfishness of a hobby that requires me to use a lot of electricity and have a lot of material goods, I feel it's the least I can do to give back in recycling all the components and parts of games and consoles that I don't need. But that is me, that is my collection of loose games in my binder, and I hope you found it interesting. Any thoughts below, good or bad or otherwise, hit me up in the comments below. I've been Riggers, you've been amazing, thank you very much for watching, I'll catch you in the next video.